I have been waiting for this week's episode of Inside Star Citizen for a long time. It just dropped and it is about persistent hangars, a feature that has been promised since the very, very early days of Star Citizen. I think they were called personal hangars back in the day, but every single ship that you bought with the game, which is how Star Citizen funded itself, came with, and I think still does come with, a hangar of the appropriate size for that ship. The idea being that you would then own the hangar in the universe. Well, this idea has been floating around for a long time, and finally it seems like we're just one patch away from actually getting our persistent hangars, and this week's ISC broke down all the details that I've just been wondering about this whole time. Okay, they didn't actually answer all the questions because I have like a billion more about how it's actually going to function, but they certainly laid the foundation for what to expect. So firstly, when you set your home location in Star Citizen, as you always do every time there's a new patch, the game will determine the largest ship that you currently own and assign you a hangar of that size at that location. Now, they didn't really mention moving your main personal hangar to a new location like a space station, for example, or what's involved with buying a new personal hangar at a different location. Those mechanics, I believe, are coming. They just didn't really talk about them. Now, certainly one of the biggest features of this new hangar that was just displayed was the ability to spawn your ship inside of your hangar. There will be a new ASOP terminal within your own hangar. The old ones will still exist, but now if you have your own personal hangar, you don't have to wait in line or use those ones anymore. You can just go to your hangar and spawn your ship directly in your hangar. And I was thinking, well, they're probably just going to materialize it in front of you. No. Star Citizen needs visual logic for just about every mechanic in the game, and the floor will open up and your ship will come up on a giant spaceship elevator. I am really excited to see what this looks like for some of the massive ships in the game, like the Reclaimer. It's probably going to look absolutely insane. They also addressed the auto-loading of spaceships, which for a long time people thought we were going to be watching little NPCs walk around with boxes and load them onto your ship, which sounded incredibly complex and probably untenable for Star Citizen. Nope, it's much simpler than that, much smarter. Basically, if your ship is stored at the station and you buy a huge amount of commodities, you can then transfer those commodities directly onto your ship for an auto-loading fee. It will take a little bit of time, but then when you spawn your ship, it will have all those commodities, all that cargo pre-loaded in your ship. This is great news for a solo trader who just wants to fly cargo around the verse and not have to manually load it at each stop, as long as you're willing to pay the fee and wait whatever period of time it takes to load that cargo. Now, they also showed off the cargo elevators, which is how you're going to manually get cargo from your station inventory, and you can either load it onto your ship, leave it in your hangar, do whatever you want with it. It'll come up in boxes. The UI looks pretty clean, but also say if you just want to grab a pistol or a new med pen or just a small amount of inventory and you don't have to deal with a giant cargo elevator, they have the item bank now, which will be located all around stations and major landing zones. You'll be able to go there and just call up an item real quick, and it won't come in a giant cargo crate. It'll just come out on a tray. I would imagine that this is probably also where they're going to do unique item recovery for items that are account bound, that you either spent real money for or earned during an in-game event, and now you have them permanently attached to your account. Well, if you lose them in game, they're pretty much gone forever or until the game gets patched again. But unique item recovery is a feature that's coming soon that's going to allow you to get those back. Unfortunately, it was just delayed, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer, but I imagine it's going to somehow interface with probably these same kiosks. Now, hangars have also been increased in size for a couple of different reasons. Firstly, some ships barely fit inside the hangars that were designated to them. So they would literally be scraping the paint off the sides as you try to land a Carrack, for example. Fun piloting challenge, but not really how the game, I think, was supposed to be designed. So they've increased a lot of the hangar default sizes. And what this also does is it gives a nice little ring around the giant elevators that lift the spaceships up and down when you spawn them. So that would be where I guess you can decorate your hangars. They didn't really get too much into hangar decoration. They have mentioned it in the past that you'll be able to like set up weapon racks and things like that, but I definitely want to see more of that. I would imagine most of the assets for hangar decoration just aren't quite built yet, and that we'll see more of them later. Now, some other things that they have casually mentioned in the past was that hangars would be able to be upgraded or have facilities like habitational units, potentially even medical facilities. As you can see, if you look off to the side of the standard hangars now, there are like a little med bay. Those kind of things as like optional or paid for upgrades would be great. The ability to spawn directly inside your hangar is so many players' dreams. You know, you have your little bed there, you wake up, you get down, your spaceship's right there. Cut out so much of the busy work with getting into and starting to play Star Citizen. Very exciting to me, and also the idea of having med bays or other facilities directly built into your hangar could be huge quality of life upgrades. Now, speaking of just general quality of life that these persistent hangars will bring, one of the main ones is just staging for missions with friends. You can call up your ship, you can then call up a vehicle on the cargo elevator and drive it into your ship. No more landing on a moon or a planet that has a vehicle spawner, loading into your ship and then going to the mission location after that. Plus, if you've got some friends on and you've got a bunch of weapon racks and gear in your hangar, they don't have to go running around a space station or a landing zone collecting things to get ready for the mission. You can just share some of your items with them and help things get started much quicker. Now, in my head, I had always imagined persistent hangars allowing you to store multiple ships in a single hangar, probably because some of the early personal hangars showed a bunch of ships in singular hangars, and so I thought you would be able to have multiple ships there and you and your friends could all load out your ships at the same time, and then everybody sort of takes off in unison together. That always sounded cool to me, but I don't think you're going to be able to do it based on the way the current ship elevators are designed. It just seems like it's sort of designed to despawn ships, or there could be a real catastrophe if you say stored your ship while there was 2 or 3 other ships on the same pad as it. So I'm wondering if they're going to try and remedy that situation a bit down the line. Will they have giant org hangars or something like that where multiple ships could exist in a single hangar? I would imagine part of it is a performance issue of just not wanting to have 3 or 4 ships all spawned within one hangar in an instance. It's probably going to be a lot of extra server load that CIG doesn't want to deal with. That said, they did say that you will be able to spawn one ship, fly it out of the hangar, and then somebody could spawn another ship and fly that out of the hangar in sequence. But if you say wanted to both land your ships in a hangar and then transfer cargo back and forth, it might run into issues if you accidentally stored a ship, since there wouldn't be any extra space for one ship to not get stored while the other one does get stored. Anyway, persistent hangars coming with a whole new batch of cargo missions on top of that is so exciting to me. I understand that patch 3.23 is one of the biggest patches ever, and some of the biggest, most impactful features are things like the star map now, which is going to be a huge quality of life upgrade, but the star map in itself isn't really gameplay. To me, the persistent hangars represents a lot more gameplay opportunities, which is why it really is one of my most anticipated features at this point. Probably also because it's been a promised feature since so early in Star Citizen's development, and now we're finally getting it. No asteroid hangars quite yet, but that'll come later. I'd be curious to hear what you guys are looking forward to the most with patch 3.23. There is literally so much to pick from. It's gonna be like getting a brand new game. Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave me a like, subscribe for more content like it, ding that notification bell to beat the YouTube algorithm with me. And up next, take a look at what has to be the best Star Wars multiplayer game ever made. Will it ever be topped? As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.